Hey everyone, it's Kelly. Thanks for joining me. I am back with a new layout for the Cut Shop, and today I'm going to be using the Spiral Scallop Cut File. I do have a Cricut Design Space tutorial to start, and as you can see, I already have the cut file on the design screen. I knew right away going into this layout that I wanted to draw this cut file onto a piece of pattern paper because I wanted to hand stitch. So in the panel on the right hand side, I just clicked on the cut file and changed the setting to right. Now, when I changed the setting to right, it did place all of those little half moon shapes in between the circle and the scallop edge on the cut file. And I only want the circles and the scallops. So I'm going to go down to the contour feature, and you can do this one of two ways. You can click on each individual half moon shape, or you can go down and click on the select all, and then just choose the pieces that you want to show. And because there are so many half moon shapes, I decided that it was just going to be much easier to select all and then go through and just select the circles and the scallops. So that's what I'm doing here. And if you look behind the hide contour pop-up box that is showing there to the design screen, you can see as I am clicking on those shapes that the circles and the scallops are showing on the design screen. So I know what I'm selecting is correct. So I really like this new feature in the Design Space 3.0 beta. It makes it much easier to use the hide contour feature. So once I have all of that selected, I'm just going to click on the design screen and the hide contour pop-up box will disappear. And if you look really close at this cut file image, you will see that the scalloped edge does not directly touch the circle. And I want it to touch the circle. And part of the reason is I'm going to fit my title in between the circle and one of the scallops. So I need to have as much room as possible to fit the title in that space. So I've duplicated the image by clicking on the duplicate button on the right hand side towards the top. And I did show you that there is a copy and paste option also under the edit tab that is on the top taskbar on the design screen page. And I had mentioned in a previous video when Design Space 3.0 beta came out that I didn't think that there was a copy paste anymore, but there is. So if you need it for some reason, it is underneath the edit option on that top taskbar. So what I'm doing now is I am back in the hide contour feature, and I am selecting one image to only have the scallops and selecting the other image to only have the circles. So I'm just going to take a moment to select those shapes. And again, this is one of the nice things about the hide contour feature. As I'm clicking on those images within that pop-up box, I can see exactly what's happening on the design screen. So I know if I click on something by accident, I can see it right away and correct it versus having to go back into the hide contour later on to correct it. Okay, so once I have all of those images selected, I'm going to go back to the design screen. And the easiest way to size this image is by starting with the scallops, because the scallops are going to sit on the outside edge of the circles, and the largest image that you can have in Cricut Design Space is 11.5 inches. It's easiest just to start with the scallops and get those sized correctly, and then you can adjust the circles. I am going to change the color of the scallops on the design screen just so it's easier to see how the edges of these two images line up with each other. And as I mentioned, I already have the scallops sized correctly, so I'm going to drag the circle image over to the scallops, and then I'm just going to resize the circles to fit within the scallops. And again, my whole goal is to have the scallop edges touching the circles to make more room for my title. So there I was just turning the grid lines off for a quick second just to make sure that I wasn't getting distracted by the grid lines and that everything was lined up exactly as I wanted it. Once I know that it is exactly as I want it, I'm going to select all and click attach, and then I am ready to click the make it button and send it to the cutting mat. So here you can see that the cut file is drawn on a piece of pattern paper, and that pattern paper is from the Maggie Holmes Bloom collection. And I just used one of my Cricut pens. I think it was a size 0.3, but it may have been a size 0.4. I had debated on using just white cardstock, but I really like this pink pattern paper. It adds just enough color to the background, but isn't distracting or overwhelming. So I thought it was the perfect choice for this layout. And I knew before I went to the hand stitching that I wanted to add some splatters to the background. And this is something that Paige Evans does quite a bit in her videos, where she uses white acrylic paint, just waters it down, and then uses a brush to add some large and small splatters. So that is what I am doing there. Now I'm going to place my photo in the center of the layout, and I need to cut my photo down to a circle. So raise your hand if you still have the Creative Memories circle cutter. I use mine all the time. I absolutely love it. I have circle dies, but I still go back to the circle cutter quite a bit and use it. Okay, so we need to take a moment to look at this photo. Aiden is 2 years old in this photo, and this was taken in Magic Kingdom at Disney World. And that was his reaction when the characters came out on the stage. I mean, could that be more perfect? My mom actually took this photo. We went on a family trip, and my sister and her kids and her husband went, Andy, myself, and Aiden, and then my parents went. And we had just arrived in Florida, and we went to the park, and we were walking through Magic Kingdom, and we happened to come across the stage, and the characters were just getting ready to come out on stage. So we thought, okay, let's just stand and watch the characters come out. And my mom had her camera on Aiden, and she snapped this photo, and his mouth is just wide open. He is just in awe of these characters, how large they were, and just the music and everything. That picture is priceless. So much so that I thought that I had to show it to you a second time. I mean, seriously, how cute is that picture? Okay, so back to the layout. As you can see, all the hand stitching is complete, and I hand stitched in 4 different colors of pink embroidery floss. I started with the lightest color in the center and then worked my way out to the darkest color along the outside edge. Now I'm just going through the Pink Paisley Paige Evans Oh My Heart ephemera pack, and I'm just looking for some odds and ends that I can add to the layout. I don't want to add too much to the layout because I don't want to distract from the hand stitching. So I'm just looking for some floral die cuts and just some things that I can kind of tuck along the outside edge of the photo. I do end up covering up quite a bit of the hand stitching directly in the center underneath the photo, and that's okay. There's still a little bit of it peeking out. I wasn't really sure when I was adding the hand stitching how much was going to be covered up, so I thought it would just be easiest just to go ahead and stitch that whole circle and scalloped edge in the center of the layout. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I knew that I was going to place my title in between one of the scallop borders and one of the circles, and I decided to go ahead and go along that outer ring. And my title is going to be Seeing the Characters, and I am using the thickers from the Pink Paisley Paige Evans Oh My Heart collection. I'm going to place 2 words at the top and then place the word characters along the bottom just to give the layout some symmetry. I did also add a yellow suede bow directly below the photo, and that is from the Pink Paisley Paige Evans Take Me Away collection. Now I've just fussy cut out a portion of a die cut from the Oh My Heart collection, and I can't remember what it says, and it's too small to see on my editing screen, but it doesn't end up making it onto the layout. And now I am going to go ahead and back my photo with some fun foam. I am going to use that Stay Home die cut from the Pink Paisley Paige Evans Oh My Heart collection as a layer behind the photo. And I just wanted to give a little bit of separation between the photo and the background, and that die cut fit perfectly, and I like the colors that it has. Now I'm going to start adhering everything down to the layout, and I am going to use liquid adhesive for almost everything on the layout. I just want to make sure that everything is nice and secured to the page. Now when I am tucking this floral die cut image behind the photo, I wanted to make sure that a majority of the pink was showing because that is really the color scheme that I have going on. So that die cut had some darker green and things on it, but I tucked a majority of that behind the photo and just left the pink parts showing. Okay, so I'm going to go back to talking about this photo again for just a quick second while I'm getting the thickers and the bow and everything adhered down to the layout. But I hear a lot of people say that they don't want to take their kids to Disney until they feel like they're old enough to appreciate it. And I totally understand that. But coming from a parent who has taken their child to Disney when he was 2, almost 3, we went in November and he turned 3 in January. And then we went again when he was 5. And there was just such a difference in him from age 2 to age 5. It was unreal. And whether or not he remembers a lot from when we went the first time, I remember it. And I have photo after photo of him just beaming ear to ear because he was just having the best time. So it was so amazing to see it through his eyes at age 2, almost 3. So if you're worried about that, please don't be. It was well worth every single penny that it took to go on this trip. And I will cherish these memories forever. If you can't tell, this might be my favorite photo of all time. I just love everything about it. His facial expression, the way he's holding my dad's hand. I haven't scrapbooked this photo yet because it's one of those photos that I wanted to make sure that I scrapbooked it perfectly and that I did the photo justice. And I really am happy with how this layout turns out. Okay, so I'll stop talking about the photo and get back to the layout. I did add the word Disney in 2010 using tiny alphabet stickers from the sticker book. And I was debating on how to add journaling to this layout. I did go ahead and type the journaling out on some vellum and then cut it into small strips and adhered it to the layout. And I left it there. I even took photos of the layout and I just didn't like the way it looked. I felt like it just looked muddy up in that corner. So I end up taking these vellum strips off and I'll have to try and decide what the best way is to add the journaling to the layout. So for right now, it doesn't have any journaling. And I do come in with some small white acrylic hearts that I just found in my stash and I scatter them around the photo just in a visual triangle. Once those hearts are adhered down, this layout is complete. I do want to mention before I go that this will be my last layout as a Cut Shop design team member. Ashley has decided to close the design team, but the Etsy store will still remain open. So you will still be able to purchase the cut files. And I want to give a huge thank you to Ashley for having me this past year. It really was a joy and a pleasure to work with these cut files. So thank you so much. And I also want to let you all know that I am hoping to record a chit chat video next week just to let you know what you can expect on my channel in the upcoming months now that the design team term has ended. So stay tuned for that. I will make sure to link to the Cut Shop in the description box below so you can head over and check out the cut files. And as always, thank you so much for watching.